Welcome into NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey. The 2023 NFL Draft is in the books, and now we're breaking down the top trade candidates left after not that many moves during the draft. DeAndre Swift was the big one, but players like DeAndre Hopkins were not dealt. So now what happens? We begin with the big name. That's Hopkins. He's been on the market since really the year ended. That's not exactly a surprise that he's on the trade block. It's a surprise he hasn't been moved yet. The Cardinals, simply put, have not been getting good offers for Hopkins. The age, the contract, the two main things there. The Cardinals allegedly wanted a second-round pick for Hopkins. They didn't really get that at all. I think that's why he's still there. Now Hopkins is saying he doesn't want to go. It's all very spin zone-y for Arizona. We've got two more Cardinals players left to come because they are rebuilding. It's not very good. Will Hopkins be traded? Y for yes or N for no? It's just go ahead and sound off for us in the comments section. Number 2 on our Cardinals-dominated show to begin, Budda Baker. He requested a trade from the Cardinals. He's like, make me the highest paid safety or trade me. And then that was followed up a few weeks later by a trade request. So connect the dots. Cardinals didn't want to make him the highest paid safety. Baker's a really good football player. And I don't think his timeline necessarily matches up that well with where the Cardinals organization is at, as they really do begin a fairly noteworthy rebuild at this stage. So Budda Baker was probably better in 2021, more TFLs, more interceptions. He's always been a great football player for Arizona. I would not be shocked if he gets moved, but maybe it's after this upcoming season, potentially. Another linebacker safety on our list, or at least the first of several, Isaiah Simmons. The Cardinals did not pick up his fifth-year option. He hasn't quite lived up to the hype. I don't think, personally, Arizona has utilized him that well. His numbers actually don't look that bad. A couple sacks, PBUs, about 100 tackles past 2 years, average there. I still like the idea of Isaiah Simmons, but the reality of Simmons has not yet quite appeared in the way that I was hoping it could. There is a new regime in Arizona. I think they are going to tear down a lot of the key pieces. I think the most likely outcome is they give Simmons a chance to prove himself to Jonathan Gannon and then maybe extend him and be happy about doing that. But I do think teams will call about Simmons with the fifth-year option not being picked up. I got more names to get to, but I want to hear from you guys as well. Name a player who you think ends up getting traded in the comment section. Sound off at the pinned comments of today's video. If the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let us know. All right, let's get to our linebacker portion of the show. Devin White, or I guess continuing if we count Isaiah Simmons there. He requested a trade, and the Bucs have either not found a taker or don't want to trade him. And I would wonder if there's just not that much interest to make it worth their while in the first place. Devin White's due $11.7 million. And you see the TFL numbers, the tackle numbers, the sack numbers, and you go, wow, he's really good. I like him. The splash plays are there. The down-in, down-out consistency is not. He still gets sucked in by play action, misdirections, and struggles in coverage. He's good going north, not so much going other directions. I will continue to say it. I think Devin White is the most overrated player in the NFL. Someone has to have that award. I'll give it to Devin White, who I still think can be a good football player, but he's not lived up to the hype around his name quite yet. Patrick Queen is next up. He was supposed to be the next Devin White, coming out from the same school, LSU. Has also not lived up to the hype and the expectations. Again, the tackle numbers are not bad. TFLs are fine, especially at linebacker. Tackle numbers are often a bad way to eval a player because that means they are oftentimes getting beaten coverage. Or where are they making their tackles? Too oftentimes it is downfield. The Ravens made their thoughts very clear on Patrick Queen. When they traded a second for Roquan Smith, gave him $100 million, and then drafted Trenton Simpson in the third round this year. That was as big of a sign as possible of he's not our guy anymore. Now, if you want to get the jersey for your team's newest guy, their first round pick, you can get it at chatsports.com/NFL jersey. Rookie jerseys are available, plus Aaron Rodgers Jets ones if you want it too. Chatsports.com/NFL jersey. Not all the rookie numbers are out there. Some of them are. Mozzie Smith, 58, for example. You can get the official jersey, official Nike jersey, with the real number once it's finalized and announced at chatsports.com/NFL jersey. It's kind of in the pre-order stage. They'll make them as soon as they lock in the actual numbers. So you see the placeholder 1 for first round pick on that perspective. Get yours today. Chatsports.com/NFL jersey. Let's talk Dalvin Cook, who has been linked in trade rumors or cut rumors since the year ended. The Vikings owe him about $11 million. They could save a decent amount of money. Minnesota drafted a running back in Dwayne McBride. They brought back Alexander Mattison. There have been Dalvin Cook to Miami rumors for months. Also worth mentioning, Miami drafted Devon A-Chain fairly early this year. The issue I have with Dalvin Cook and why I don't think there's been that much interest in him, look at the yards per carry. 5.1, 4.7, 4.4. Though that regression at the running back position should be scary. Another running back, Austin Ekeler. Now, he wants a trade to get paid. The problem is the running back market is not very good. Look at what DeAndre Swift went for. A fourth 2 years from now. That's not a very highly valued draft pick. Ekeler is a 3-down back. He's got awesome pass-catching value. His numbers haven't really dipped in recent years, but he's getting closer and closer to 30. And NFL teams, whether we like it or not, simply are not valuing running backs in the way they once did. And that has brought down the contract value and the trade value for these types of players. So pick a running back. Of those two bigger names, you got another back to come still. Who would you rather trade for? Assuming the money is actually probably similar for a year. AE for Austin Ekeler or DC for Dalvin Cook? Let's talk to Chiefs and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the first-round pick, the guy that everyone was convinced, including myself, was going to be this awesome superstar running back and elite fantasy player, has fallen out of favor in KC. His numbers have dipped each and every single year, in part due to injuries. Isaiah Pacheco takes the job from him. They have Jerick McKinnon. I could see a scenario where LaMichael Pirine or even a Deneric Prince, the UDFA, shock and overtake them there. And CEH might get another shot in Kansas City, but the expectations are far lower than what they once were. Speaking of expectations, Ed Oliver has not lived up to them. And I loved him coming out of Houston. I look at the numbers for a guy owed $10.75 million, and I wonder if the rumors were more about the Bills shopping him. If the Bills could do it over again, they would have declined the fifth-year option on Ed Oliver and picked up the option on Tremaine Edmonds. That's what they would have done, because Oliver has simply not been the impactful piece I was convinced he was going to be. Breakout year can still happen. He's still pretty young, but he's been underwhelming so far. Now, if you want more NFL news, rumors, trades, NFL draft coverage even, this is the right spot for you. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Chase Young, the player everybody's team wants to go get because he's a former second-round pick or second overall pick. Commanders declined his fifth-year option, and he hasn't been very good the past 2 years. He was very good in his first year, 8 sacks, and it's like this guy's going to be a double-digit sack machine at edge. He's had 2 sacks in 12 games the past 2 years. He hasn't been healthy. That scares teams. The internal value of Chase Young is probably much higher than the external value from other NFL teams. Malik Willis, he'll replace Trey Lance on our list here. The Titans moved up for Will Levis in round 2. A very clear sign they are done with Malik Willis, fair or not. And what we have to remember about Malik Willis, he was always going to be 2 years away. He was never supposed to be ready to go in year 1 because he needed time to grow and adjust. He was an upside bet. He played 5 games. The Titans' offense was awful. If I were a different team and I could afford to be patient for probably 2 years, and then see where you're at in the final year of his contract. As scary as that is, maybe Malik Willis could make some sense. But he didn't go to a great destination. The GM who drafted him got fired, I think in part because the head coach didn't like Malik Willis. I don't know if he's ever going to play again in Tennessee. Somewhere else, maybe he could find a role. So will Malik Willis get another start in the NFL? As for he'll start somewhere, B, he will only be a backup. Finally, KJ Hamler. We've talked about Hamler trade for like 2 years now, Sam. He simply has been unable to stay healthy. A grand total of 23 games. That is it. That is all Hamler has been able to do over the course of his NFL career. Denver has depth now at wide receiver. They add Marvin Mims, who's going to be the obvious Hamler replacement. They have Sutton, Tim Patrick, Jerry Jeudy. They signed Marquez Callaway. There's no room for any role involving KJ Hamler. So maybe it's more like roster cut down in case there are injuries and Denver wants to keep Hamler. I think a trade is coming at some point in the near future.